of serious offences. Sarah Atherton.
Thank you, Mr Holloway, and it's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and I'd like to thank both the Right Honourable Member for Allen Deeside and, of course, the petitioners for bringing this important debate here today. Of course, I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to Jade's family and thank them for their bravery in advocating for change at such a tragic time. Looking at the list of petitions and signatories by parliamentary constituency, Chair, that there is clearly a strong geographical centre of support in North Wales and just across the border, with strong pockets of support from Devon, Vale of Clwyd, Ellesmere Port, Chester and, of course, Wrexham. 878 people in Wrexham signed this petition, but I have absolutely no doubt that support for this petition and its aims extend right across the country, cross-party and cross-border. And I just wanted to touch on a few points. Firstly, I note in the initial response from the government that under the Children's Act of 1989, parental responsibility can already be lifted by the court. This is a mechanism. There is a mechanism in this Act that allows for the member of a child's family to care for that child if they are found in a situation where there is no parent to do so on a day-to-day basis. And I am pleased that this safeguard and option is already in law, as it should be, but I think the law can go further than that. The concern I have, and I understand, is that firstly, obtaining this legal status is both lengthy and expensive. And secondly, as a direct result of this lengthy process, parental responsibility remains with the perpetrator if a crime has been committed until the process is complete. For example, if the process for obtaining what I understand is called a special guardianship order was less time-consuming and less expensive and less onerous on the family members who are honourably trying to do the right thing in difficult circumstances, then we might not be requiring an automatic removal of parental responsibility, which is being debated here today. Whilst different to Jade's law, I do have some experience with my own constituent who is trying to obtain an order to take over parental responsibility for their grandchildren in the absence of parents who are present and able to parent. The case of my constituent has highlighted to me the process of obtaining guardianship of her grandchildren and how difficult and expensive that process is. And my understanding is obtaining a special guardianship order can cost thousands and thousands of pounds, assuming the parent gives consent in the first place. This is the exact opposite of what we should be trying to do and what we should achieve. Where there is a family member who is willing and able to take care of children, we should be supporting them to do that, not putting up barriers in the way. We shouldn't be making it more difficult for children to be looked after by their family rather than the state. Firstly, this is the best and safest option for children to be cared for by their family, who already know them and they know their routines. And secondly, a child being looked after by the state, that should never be the preferred first option. At the moment, as the process stands, it makes it easier for children to be looked after by the state and at significant cost than members of the family. And in my view, and the constituents of Wrexham, this is wrong. Of course, safety and well-being of the child is always paramount. Having been a nurse and social worker for 27 years, I have first-hand experience of children being removed from their homes and placed in temporary accommodation, lasting year upon year. I know from many years of seeing this, there is no substitute for a child being raised by their family in a safe and loving home. If this can be accommodated and all necessary safeguards and checks have been done, it absolutely should be. Of course, there should be a presumption that if one parent murders another, then parental responsibility is removed. The concern I have with automatically removing parental responsibility is that we need to have processes in place to deal with the gap in care and the decision-making. At the moment, the process for handing parental responsibility over to family members is too laborious, costly and stressful. We need to make allowances for that or make the process easier so that children aren't automatically cared for by the state when they don't need to be. Local authorities need to be more supportive of families applying for a special guardianship order. However, Where the state is needed, remembering health and social care is devolved in Wales, the Welsh Government needs to ensure that councils are adequately funded so that children always have timely and appropriate care and they don't fall between the gaps. Where there are family members who are fit, willing and able to make the decisions for the children, that should always be the priority. Thank you, Chair.